parents were a little bit crazy, but they all good now. So we are good. I had a little problem, technical problem, but anyway. I am live and here today, and I'm gonna be on for about an hour. Hopefully, there don't be no problem with this connection. So if y'all out here today, please come on back. Apologize for the thing; it just clipped off. I don't even know what was going on. Sometimes, what's up? What's up? Sorry about yesterday. I had a little glitch. It wasn't you. It was the glitch. It's a YouTube thing, and you know where I'm gonna go with this. What's up? You're gonna see what I wrote. So just answer yes or no. Yes or no. Don't hesitate. So tell me, when did you come to this discovery? And I'm not. It's not a mockery of you, but when did you come to this discovery? And then I'll answer it. And I like how you're thinking as a soul brother to ask me. That ain't why they get with Becky. That's not why they get with them. That's. I'm gonna tell you something. That's if I told you why they get with Becky, it's got not to do with that. Some of it is because they were isolated as kids. They had no game. They have no game. But a lot of it, no, they corny. But the problem is that they've been. How do I say this the proper way? They were whitewashed in ways that even had anything to do with what they did with. They were bought and paid off. See, a lot of people assume that they do that because that means that they came up. No, no. You think so? Because I don't think so. I don't think so. You do know Michael Jordan had to pay that white woman 5 million that wasn't even his kid. You do know that, right? You do Magic Johnson's situation with the house in Virginia, right? You do know that. How's that swag? I'm gonna tell you something real quick that you might not want to hear. Very few of your NBA players have actually been right in relationships. If you must know, if you must know, um, you might think Steph Curry's situation with Aisha is corny, but it's been actually real. I can't all say about LeBron and Savannah, ain't but how that go. But to be honest with you, the cats I grew up with, when it came to relationships, were left a lot to be desired. So I don't think that any of those guys are actually role models for relationships. And I told you that David Stern did a lot of cleaning up. You can take that how you want. See, how you doing? How you doing? See, Ted, this the thing. Be honest with you, a lot of them kind of like how OJ's situation was, but again, it didn't really matter if they were a black woman, white woman. It didn't make no difference. I did a video on him, and I'm getting tired of him. And it sounds like a lot of truth because of the fact that he don't play basketball. I did a video about it. I want to give him the benefit of the doubt. However, he spends so much time, if he ain't eating somewhere or eating out somewhere, he's eating out somewhere. He ain't on the court feasting. So he's not exactly one of my favorite people. He's a waste. Him and John Moran are a waste. Those two cats should be in the top five. Those two cats should be competing for something as opposed to being casualties. So they lucky that David Stern ain't around because both them cheeks would have been flipped. I don't know why they would even entertain him. Sposter and Pat Riley would have to work on him nonstop, where that would send Pat Riley into retirement. Unless you want Pat Riley to retire. He pulled all his hair out to get to Zion, and Sposter would too. Heck no. The problem is that Adam Silver didn't let him do what he wanted to do. He ate himself through the league. He done wasted away a lot of talent. And you know what the problem is? They don't reward you for being a bum when you're good. I mean, unless of course you're good and they feel sorry for you. They send your butt to Saudi Arabia, but guess what? He's already in Saudi Arabia because New Orleans is a wasteland, and he's a waste. And he been doing dumb stuff, got himself caught up in a dumb situation, just dumb. I can't even defend him. Yeah, I'm mad at him. If you must know him and John Morant, I don't even like talking about him because those cats should be. You ever watch the Five Heartbeats? Eddie King talking about, I was you, you me. That's John Morant when he sees Shay. Now, John Morant is Shay with personality, but he ain't Shay with results. Did you hear what I said? Yeah. Shay has taken his spot. And John Morant, John right now, is fooling around and headed to a CP3 type of situation. If he lasts that long. If he lasts that long. And as a matter of fact, people don't go in on him hard enough. He's worse than Ben Simmons. Yeah, I see it. Him and Zion are worse than Ben Simmons. Because at least Ben Simmons then worked himself to keep a job. These two turkeys do the dumbest stuff, the most ridiculous stuff, and you keep tempting fate and see these white folks don't put you in your place. I'm about to come unbuckle here. I don't deal with idiotic, just doing idiot stuff. Just idiots. Well, y'all should be making this NBA new. John Morant peaked in 2022 when Golden State beat him. He been on a milk carton ever since. Zion been on the milk carton literally. He had that one out of body playing game against the Lakers where he scored 40 was a year ago. And then what happened to him? The voodoo get him? I mean, these cats just be wasting. And I can't blame it on no Becky. I can't blame it on the man. Can't blame it. I want to. Now I will say this. You're lured by all that temptation. But you have to use your noggin. And you can't act like you're gonna be 24, 25 for 20 more years. You tripping. I know he is. And I still remember when he played with Duke. I remember that burnt shoe routine. Just a waste. Just a waste. I'm not gonna come at him like the way Jason Whitlock would though, because he would just you know. But the point is, you gotta be disappointed. And you gotta be disappointed because if you were a fan of basketball right now, people diss the NBA because too many threes, too much this and that and the other. But it's these jive turkeys is what they should be dissing. What a waste. If you see Shay and Ant Edwards come along, John Morant and Zion were you 5 minutes ago. Now you two is almost like in the has been pile, and you ain't has been, but you may as well be, because you turkeys is headed towards a Blake Griffin where your career came, went, and gone. Except y'all two was cats that nobody really want to deal with. Memphis can do 50 wins with or without you, John Morant. New Orleans can be a tank job with or without you, Zion. I seen some of the stuff he said. Some things I like he says. I forgot who he slurped though. He said something I didn't like though. How you doing? Good to see you, Charlene. Good to see you. Welcome to Saturday. Thank you for coming. I forgot he said something that. Oh, and if I did cut off, I apologize. If anything happens with this tweak on here, I will come back just so you know. I had nothing to do with how that thing went yesterday. I think he had an all right interview. Yeah, but anyway, to answer your question, Ted, earlier though, there's a lot of factors why they be corny and what they are, and some have been tampered with too. We don't talk about that. They've been tampered. So by the time they come up to pro ball or whatever they're doing for professional, they've already been told that hey, you get option A or you get option B, but you no longer are going to be, you know, yep. I talk in code words. You know how it is out here in these streets, because but yeah, a lot of them in all professions, boxing, football, basketball, but they've been tampered. And believe me, it ain't just actors, and it ain't all just at a Diddy party. You know, most of them been through all that too. We ain't gonna say no names, but a lot of them been doing a lot of strange. So they get someone who will freaky deaky, and then they freaky deaky, and that's what's up. That's why most of them can't say nothing about Diddy. They can't say nothing about nobody because people know. I would like to say that, but then there's someone like Suge Knight who would say, "I raised you three." I'd like to say that, but there's somebody like Kobe Bryant. I raised you three. What's up? How you doing? How you doing? See, I can give you examples with two-parent households where these cats still got turned. Michael Jordan too, and you get caught up. It's just that they kept his business quiet because he was reckless with his because he made a lot of money, and they let him have open credit literally. But I'm here to tell you, you'd be surprised. Oh yeah, because that's where what was it? That's what messed them up that year too. It ain't nothing new. Ain't nothing new. It's just they go after who they want to go after. Well, meat. He was another meathead. He was old Taco Bell head. That turkey couldn't coach. He was average. Him and Vrabel like looked like double, triple, a double. Look like twins. What, Mister 8 and 8, 9 and 7? He only got fired because of the PR. They didn't fire him because of his being an average coach. That's what it was about. He was just bad for business. That's all. And you know how they hired them same old meatheads that look like the one that was coaching the Jets that got fired. They all got that same bald head and they all look the same. Just broke meatheads. And they all average. 10, 6, 9, 7, 8, 8. You know how it go. The next thing you know, they've been coaching there for 5, 6 years. Anything that goes scandalous, they gonna get fired. The one time they win a playoff game and they lose, they get fired. But that ain't why they got fired. Ain't why they got fired. NFL think they slick with that too. Yeah, I remember that mess. He tried to be all fiery. What made him bad is that he was supposed to be some offensive guru. Like he was like Mark Marks, and he thought he was like the Holgroom and Mike Holgroom and all that. Yeah, and he went there, and the way they won was with their defense. He'd be perfect now, but nobody will touch him though. Well, I don't think he was that good to begin with. So he did everybody a favor because he would have been exposed as a fraud. I see it. Yeah, I see it. Sue me, Brian Billy, because you were overrated. So called offensive guru genius. They always get a title for these turkeys, and then when they get exposed, they just so marginal, homogenized. And that one he won with the Giants, that was because Kerry Collins was paying or was throwing everything he could at the Ravens. He would have had about 8 picks. They dropped about 4 of them. He was hitting everybody in stride except for the right person. His completion rating would have been 1,000 because he wasn't missing marks except someone told him not for the other team. Yeah, you so-called offensive genius guru, and you flashed in the pan. He was a snoop. So, but that's what they sell you on. Well, they both kind of one and the same, except Bowler is like a second tier version of Dilfer. Dilfer wasn't nothing special. He's a good game manager. Did enough to get over. Nothing special. Just like Brad Johnson. I'm just telling you, some of these cats be mediocre and they get in with the right system. They're game managers. That's what Cam Newton be trying to write. I try to call it. There ain't nothing wrong with it, but don't be flexing your chest out because you got a ring like you something special either. Don't flex. Don't flex. They had to let Dilfer go because Dilfer was one dimensional. Dilfer got hooked up with ESPN. What was that safety for the Cowboys? Orlando Sherrick, or what's his name? Number 30 used to play for the Cowboys. Orlando Sherrick. He had a gig on ESPN. Orlando Standback or something. Because I think he's the one that Jalen Green's baby mama is used to have a baby. Yeah. So I was watching Storm and Roll last night because there's some guy on there that was talking about Starburst, and he mentioned him. He was talking about football players because they was doing a roundup about different cats, and his name came up. I was like, oh, wrong, wrong, because I think his baby mama is with Jalen Green now. I think, yeah, that's why Jalen Green can't play worth Jack. He sucked in that first round. That the dude only scores 10 points. The Rockets beat Golden State. What the heck wrong with him? When it came up, his name came up last night. I was drinking my water. I need to spit my water out. I said, "Oh, that's how he got that gig with ESPN." Cause dude was like, "Oh, him, yeah." See, I be in different spots, so when people drop name, I'm gonna tell you something. It ain't like back in the day when you go live with somebody, right? And they'd only talk about athletes to athletes or music to music or this or that. These worlds interchange. These worlds are a lot more. They run in circles. Cause I remember when Larry Johnson used to live with Jay Z, and he had crazy stories. The running back, and he was good too. Guy's career just kind of came and. But anyway, you'd be surprised at some of the stories. And it's a small world after all. Excuse me. Especially in Black World. Oh, of course he did. He looked like the type. he look. Terrence told you to come over to play guitar. That had me rolling. He was trying to serenade. but Terrence, he was on well when he was on no Power at straight Lawrence Tate straight. No, he was on Empire because everybody else got turned out on Empire except for the one guy that's the one that played the oldest son. Everybody else got I heard stuff, but Terrence talked a lot though. I don't know. You'd be surprised though. These worlds is a lot more closer than you think. Yeah. Well, the one that had the curly hair top is not Schmullet and not the one that was the youngest one. Not them two. But I know exactly. Empire did change, and it went strange. Especially it was the season two when they had Chris Rock as the prison kingpin. That about nearly made me crack up. That was hilarious. His voice was deep, and I was cracking up. Oh yeah. Do you know that, right? That whole thing with that fake attack. Oh yeah. And the other one is too. The younger one. The other one, the younger one, was in the New Edition movie. Mhm. Oh, it's a, it's very prevalent. Oh, oh yeah, man. Well, again, I be in different circles, and so I'll be watching stuff, and you'd be surprised at how some of these cats infiltrate into other areas because they all by association. And I be hearing, I'll tell you a story. You want to hear a story? Give me a one if you want a story. Wesley, I don't. And it had nothing to do with him getting locked up or nothing. He just real peculiar. That's the best way I could describe him. Would I be surprised if anything went down? Nah, he peculiar. So my homeboy, this was back when Kobe and Gasol had won the chip. This was 2010. He's a music writer out in L.A. Been there forever. We were talking about football, and he ain't even a big football fan because he liked casual. He told me a lot of them cats be jaws out there. The way he used they jaws. You know what jaws did? Talking about football players. He said you'd be surprised. A lot of them are jaws. You know how jaws one, jaws two. Said there's a lot of jaws. Not really, cause he I'll tell you what happened was he tried to say he was fluid, but then he flipped on it. Yeah, he messed up. Yeah, he almost did. Cause I remember there was some black women in my family, older ones, and they were like, "Oh, that good hair going to waste." That was the mess for about that was the story for about 2 or 3 weeks. But now he came and said he didn't listen to it right. But he did say that Marlon Brando tried to hit on him. He said that, but he said he didn't ever say he was. He got fluid messed up. I said, well, look, don't be trying to sound hip and then you get yourself in a sling. But my aunt was too. She said all that good hair going away. But then he came out and said, no, he got fluid mixed up. I said, look, don't be trying to sound hip. You fool around and say the wrong. Don't do like Stephen A. Smith talking about the list is fluid. Be cracking up. Don't be saying no mess like that. Oh yeah, did you see Cat the other night? Carl Anthony Towns when he sat there with his toes out. People was clowning him. They was calling him zesty man. They was clowning Cat. I was cracking up. The comments was hilarious. Cat be getting. I just think that he just a. I just think he a spongy cat. I don't think he's soft. He just spongy. But I was them comments had me rolling. He be when he be trying to flex too. That be cracking me. Be like, I be laughing. Like, dude, you ain't no Lou Ferrigno. You ain't Tony Atlas. Look at you after trying to flex. But I will give him credit when he go to the hole. Yeah, there's a difference. Metro. He go to the hole long. That's where he's more effective. Yeah, that's all he is. He ain't soft. I'll give him that. He came a long way. He tightened up. But his problem is that he just likes to stay outside. He call himself the greatest 3-point center and all that mess. I'm like, look, man, that's the problem with you. Well, yeah. The comments was cold to him though. They was cold. You gotta take one day at a time. You gotta take one day at a time. You look too far ahead. And see, I do think Halliburton's gonna come out and play. I don't think he corny. I just think that's how he is. I mean, he's not a stereotype cat. He just kind of is the way he is. You know, I ain't got no problem with him. I just think he gotta get consistent. He gotta find other ways. But I did hear that crazy stat on First Things First. They had a with Nick Wright and Broussard. Did you watch it with him and with them and Lyle when they were talking about that interesting stat about Halliburton? Did you hear about that stat? Because if he doesn't make his first shot, then he tends to be have bad games. They're not the same. They're not the same. Yeah, they basically said when he don't make his first shot, he tends to have bad games. That's some crazy stat about him too. They get it mixed up. Shuffleboarding cats try to be cool. That's the sad part. They corny, come a corny. Like if you RG3, but you don't want to be both though. Please don't be both. That's just a double negative. But they're not the same. They're not the same. Yeah, he both, and he got it bad for both. Bad. He's bad both. You don't want to be both, and you sure as heck don't want to be bad both. But he bad both. I was like, man, you're a cornball and you sold out. I was like, dang man, what am I gonna do with you? I'm sure they do, cause cats be trying too hard. You know, walking into a bar with their mega hats on, but I don't think like they think. Mm, yeah, he's corny. Because see, I remember he did that Hooting the Blowfish with that Coors commercial, and I ain't knocking what your backgrounds and stuff. That's cool, but yeah, he be thinking that he got some delusion like he's playoff Jimmy. I'm like, look, man, you were 15-point scorer, then you got yourself a little bulk, and then you got up to 20 plus. But you ain't that dude. You ain't that dude. All that flexing and acting because they go out of their way to show how conservative they are, and they want to show off for the massa. They really go out of their way. Say it loud, black and proud. Because James Brown hit it so hard. I mean, Nina, if it wasn't for that, Nina would have it. Because it's been covered by a lot. But James Brown hit that thing so hard. He hit it so hard. It took that kind of energy, especially when Dr. King was taken out, to come out with a song like that. That hit hard. Yeah, that's my pet peeve, though. They go all out. They want to make it sound like they don't, they go extra. Yep. Make it a point. And look at you crazy because you got a mind of your own. Mm-hmm. And then they get mad because I say, look, if you was over there lying and you needed water, these folks wouldn't even give you they wouldn't even saliva near you. And you are going out of your way. I'm not surprised. And what has happened to his political career? Because Byron Donalds, I can't find you on my map. I Google you. think that's more sickening than anything. Trump be having these cats sold out and holding ankles. That's all. Nope. That's because the shuffleboard gets no love. He talking about giving Diddy a pardon. Now, Diddy got more sway than those two turkeys put together. Yep. And I ain't got no respect for him. He ridiculous. Uh, I love them both, but I give Bob Marley the edge on that one. But I love them both though. Oh yeah, cause they were in the same circles. Shoot, how you think Epstein and all that? What you think this whole thing with Weinstein and all that? Come on now. Go back to what I said to you earlier about how these worlds are smaller than you think. How the sports, the music, all that. That's all you need, yo. That's all you need. That's all you need. You gotta have dirt on somebody. That's how the game is. That's the game. And they all connect. And I'm not trying to tell you what to watch. I tell you something. If you go to like a gossip section in the YouTube with the music or actors and stuff, you're gonna hear a lot about LeBron's world come to here. You're gonna hear about some other people that you didn't think you were gonna hear. I'm telling you, these worlds are intertwined. They mix and match. Shaq be a lot of that stuff too. I'm just telling you what I know. Kobe was at some stuff too. I'm just telling you what I know. Okay? You'll be surprised. He did buy off judges. He would have been locked up a long time ago. He buy him off because the fact they were offering him a deal is why he'll get. That's the pardon right there. See, R. Kelly didn't get no offer of plea like that. Diddy's getting an offer of a plea. That should tell you what you need to know right there. And they still be offering him one right now. Because they'll probably say a straight 15, but he served time, and Trump decides to get him a lip, get him out. Mm-hmm. That's all it is. Told you it's like Fleece Johnson. If you watch Fleece Johnson videos, that's exactly what it's like in that industry. Do the easy way or the hard way. I kid you not. I kid you not. You know, there were things that you wouldn't normally used to watch, but the way the entertainment and the sports world, all this stuff done gone, it's all intertwined. It is all intertwined. It ain't different. It is just, because I remember that Charles Haley book. Did you ever read about Charles Haley? Charles Haley said he saw some starbursts going on in the locker room. Tracy McGrady did too. I kid you not. It's things didn't infiltrated all the way around. And T Mac was in that "Feeling on Your Booty" video with R. Kelly, if you remember. Cash used to be all in the videos. Shaq was in that one with Ben Stiller. Remember? Bad boy. We ain't gonna stop. What's that one with Diddy did back over one? Bad boy for life. Had them all in the video too. So, but anyway, it's a lot more relevant. Oh, four people saying yes. Okay, been a rise. Oh, well, it's gonna be more of that. You keep on letting Trump tell you what to do, and don't see if you don't catch a Will Smith two-piece coming your way. Get that Will Smith special. No, he wouldn't, because he would be upset because of the fact that that's the only time that you come to action. You're not coming to action as a people. You're not using your noggin. Malcolm, Dr. King, Marcus Garvey, Huey P. Newton, none of them would like what they see. because you got to be more progressive than what you tolerating. You got to have a demand for your politics. You have a demand for your manhood, for your womanhood, for your soulhood. You can't be tolerating just because someone tells you something that you get a cause and reaction. You have to put your money together and you have to make people respect you. You got to do what the ABA did, form your own, do your thing, say this is what we negotiate. You have to think like that. Because the thing is, it's embarrassing because all this generational wealth that's going on right now, these cats is not working together and they sitting by and getting fat and being happy that someone is doing what they doing because you feel that you're obligated to bring them, but they're not obligated to bring you to their cookout. They both great. I If I had to give a lean, I'd have to say Dr. King for the simple fact being is that there was a way more totality, and he did speak into an orbit about other things that have been conveniently left out. Conveniently left out. Never talk. Yeah, they don't get the invite back. Go out of our way. Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. Go out of our way to make you feel welcome and invited. You know, hand over fist. Hold your ankles. Be happy. Come on through. But if I come to Starbucks with you, sit over there. Get your latte. I'll take care of you. See, and it ain't going tit for tat. It's going one way or the other. Yeah, because they ain't comfortable. They know their family's racist and they know they be saying stuff, so they try to do like a mockery voice. They cosplay. They try to talk in a way that you're not used to them talking or acting. Start to shake up. You don't know it until you know it, and then you like, wait a minute, where that voice come from? So that's up with that. Oh yeah, cosplaying all the time. Shoot, happens wherever I go. I ain't going nowhere without that happening. Yep. They pull that Tyler Hero 8 Mile on you, but then when you ain't around, dressed like Jim Carrey. But when they're around you, it's 8 Mile. Mm-hmm. I know. I didn't seen it, and it's why And funny thing, black folks get rid of say y'all watch too much TV and all that, but who be doing all the entertainment? Yep. But you ain't got to go outside of it because it happens within our own been role playing, and that is what you're taught. The difference is that for us it's survival, and on the other side, it's like a movie. Oh, we're gonna act like them. Oh, we're gonna take on that role, that thespian act. That's the difference. Yep. Yep. Again, that's what you tolerate. So if you tolerate it, then that's what ends up happening. That's why I say you gotta be careful who you be hanging with. Sometimes you just gotta keep it at arm's length. Cause all that acting, I ain't Hollywood. I'm not gonna give you no Oscar, but that's what they want. Cause he's always who he is, and this is the thing you got to remember. You know, he needs you more than you need him. But you seem to get hoodwinked because you need acceptance, and that's what to tell you. That's the lie they tell you. Take a D list, Q list talent and blow them up to say, yeah, you're cool. I ain't never liked him. I remember when he was in that Zebra Head or some mess back in the early 90s. And I know he was down with Tribe Called Quest. And then when after I saw him in Higher Learning, them beady eyes, I said, that ain't no acting. There's two movies that came out around then where I knew the people weren't acting. Him in Higher Learning and Queen Latifah in Set It Off. I'm like, that ain't no acting. That's real. That was real. They saying that they think that way because they don't have who's uh putting them on straight the game that's out here. You got no music artists that are telling you about what's going on. You have nothing that's gonna offset what's out there. So you have to learn this. Marvin Gaye. Cause Towards the Colors, which I liked a lot with the impressions, um, Marvin's thing was general. Period. It encompasses all that. Mayfield was talking from within. So, but I like them both though. But what's going on here is because it was just he was asking why are people so much going on. It was just such a strong general song. But I like Choice of Colors though. That's a long list. I mean, the obvious are Duke Ellington, Miles Davis, Louis Armstrong, Count Basie. I like Joe Sample from the Crusaders a lot. Wilton Felter, Chick Corea, Herbie Hancock, Art Blakey, Ellis Marcellus. Some of Marcellus stuff I like. Some Jack DeJohn, Return to Forever. I would say with Stanley Clark solo stuff. See what else could I pick on? That was considered. Donald Byrd, Grover Washington Jr., Earl Garner, Thessalonius Monk. Well, there was always something, yo. I mean, every genre and style has had something, you know. You had to be kind of hooked on something with the racial resentment you're getting. He could be considered by some, but he's considered a great though. It's just that his chords were kind of unorthodox. That's all. He played because Miles Davis didn't think he could play. I like Monk. It's an interesting voice of keyboard, but for some people it might be a bit just like he banging notes. But he had a very unorthodox way that it worked. But you can't compare musicians. I mean, again, like Art Tatum played a certain way, BB King blues, but his riffs were one note. But what he did, he had a signature sound. That's why he gets called the King of Blues. He had such a distinctive sound and tone. Love BB King. I got a book on BB King. Lucille was amazing. He's one of my favorites. So anyway, there's a lot of jazz musicians I like. Nat King Cole. His voice took over everything. It all depends on what you're talking about. Quincy Jones for arrangements to an extent. Um, Earl Cluth, drummers. Oh God, there's a lot of them. I like Clyde Stubblefield. Um, Barrington, Diamond from the Ohio Players, Maurice White, Stevie Wonder. Tony Busby about ready to buzz him up. I'm like, dang. They gonna get some fishes though. He gonna get one, if not more than one. Oh, they gonna get somebody. First of all, these cats are all intertwined, so they gonna get got. What did he say? What did he say? Did he talk about them, the free calls? Because that's the only way. And put that old sorry excuse of his wife in check too. She bumped the line. Yeah, well, I mean, I already know. There was a wrestler that was gonna air him out, but I forgot who it was. Vince been janky forever. Yep. Now if they come and lock him up because he's pushing 80, that's just criminal in itself. But he should have been locked up, and the wife too. Yeah, I'm not surprised. Yep, I'm not surprised. Yeah, most of it is though. I mean, I saw that, and I might do a video about that. I think I will. I disagree. Let me explain why. Because SGA has been putting up numbers that were never something that was Tim Duncan's forte. And if to be at OKC, I don't think. No, no, no. It's because he just kind of leans with his hair. You just picking on his hair. No, I just think that he there's a different feel with them, but no, they don't remind me of no San Antonio. To be honest with you, I'll tell you who reminded me of San Antonio was Boston. That was more San Antonio like. They just did because they had a system and it was supposed to work and it didn't. Um, OKC is actually fun to watch. If they became the new Spurs, they'd have to play a lot better than what they do with consistency. I don't see the correlation. Yeah, because Tatum and Brown were ugly to watch play, but they wore you out. They beat you at your style. You couldn't beat them. And if you think about it, Jalen Brown would go off. Well, think about Parker and Ginobili. Ginobili would initiate, then Porzingis comes off, so you had a third wheel. Think about how Al Horford would come off the bench, and then how they would swarm you with their defense. And when before Robert Williams and when whatchamacallit was there before he got traded to Memphis, what's his butt? They were giving you a style of defense that was very Spurs like. The reason why I mentioned Boston is because guess who used to be an assistant coach with Boston before he became the head coach and when he was assistant in San Antonio? That's Udoka. That style is made me think of it. If you think back to how Boston swarmed with their defense with Robert Williams and then what's his butt, um, what's his butt? That guy he got traded to Memphis. He was the guard, and then the other one. Oh yeah. Well, he's got no choice. He got no reason. But that's why I said the Celtics. Udoka had them playing a certain way. They just that Curry got off on them. But if you looked at their defensive mindset in their front, especially when they got Drew Holiday, that was very much a Celtics. I mean a Spurs style because Tatum is boring, and you get excited about Jalen Brown like you did Kawhi Leonard, but he's kind of like an unknown, and there's a lot going on. So they put me in the frame of mind more so than OKC do. Yeah, you said that yesterday. Well, where is he gonna go? And then nobody's got the kind of OKC got the cap room, but I don't think they want him because they could give you about 15 draft picks. But I think the Bucks probably want something in return, and I don't know. Um, his game was hurt. I know he hurt physically, but his game was hurt. He don't fit Milwaukee. Injuries aside, what do I have that goes on that says he's gonna thrive with Doc Rivers as his coach? He don't play no defense. They don't. He don't utilize Brooke Lopez properly. So it could be the end of his career, but bigger. But even if he came back, that's not a championship team. So now, if he comes off the bench, yeah, the best I would say, it's got to be Giannis, and probably in that order that you mentioned. Kareem came to Milwaukee. I mean, Oscar came to Milwaukee later in his career. He did his best damage with the Cincinnati Royals. Kareem would have been had he stayed, but he left. So Giannis gets that by default. But what makes you ask though? That's how I got him in that order. Bigo had done his damage before he got to Milwaukee. Kareem would have been had he stayed, but Giannis has got it now. I can't see anyone surpassing him because he got the chip, which was almost 50 years to the day. And, you know, let me think. I want to say the '06 Heat because of the styling. I think the styling would have favored Miami. They had depth, but do you think they were better? Sean Elliott hit that shot. Do I think they were the better team that I saw with what they won with an '03, '05, '07? No, I don't think they were better. Now, '96 Bulls. Cause just better. Oh, Nike gonna win that. I think that. What makes you say the 13 Heat? Nike gonna win that one. The 13 Heat ain't beat no Bulls in '96. Yeah, Nike. 11 Mavs or Pistons on four. Let me think. That's a good one. I'm gonna have to say the '04 Pistons. Because Tyson Chandler having to deal with Sheed and Ben Wallace. Chauncey and Rip ain't gonna let JJ Barrera and Jason Kidd at that stage doing what they did to LeBron and D Wade. So I'm glad to say the Pistons were better. You asking me the '01 Lakers versus '17 Warriors? I'm taking the Lakers. No one's gonna stop Shaq. No one's gonna stop Shaq. You don't want to see a team go 6-0 in the playoffs because that team would have to be anointed. They would have to be pretty special. Um, no, I don't think you will. It's too hard of a lead. Oh, they don't have to stop him. But this is the thing. Don't act like Rick Fox can't dance on him. Don't act like Kobe couldn't go over there and 10 with her. Don't act like Derek Fisher wouldn't take charges. The thing about it is this: Golden State played great, but they never went up against the likes of a team that was what I call special. Besides, you know, when Kareem did win this, they were kind of put together. Bottom line is this: the Lakers would have enough to give him a problem, and he got to have more than that to beat them. Because Clay would have to hit his shots. Durant have to hit his shots. But like I said, ain't no one gonna stop Shaq in his peak in his base. And Kobe going off too, and Fox and D Fish. I'm telling you, that LA team would have found a way to beat them. I would say the Broncos because their defense and their offense were spot on, and TD would have been a problem for Tampa Bay. So I take in that Broncos. The Broncos are 97. Come on now. Is that funny? Listen, Von Miller aside, they had no offense. So if you put any, that's why any kind of offense, you know, 97 was better. Seahawks. They're long tooth in Pittsburgh. Got lucky, got Pittsburgh again. Yeah, I would pretty much say. Yep. I'd say the. I was more impressed with the 13 Seahawks. I was. Excuse me. I was more impressed with the Seahawks. That Legion of Boom would have given them a problem. I'm going to go with the 96 Packers. So that's where I would be. 96. I'd say the. I'd say the. God, 96. Let me put my thinking cap on. Let me think. Let me think. Hmm. I'll do a video about that. I'll do a video about that one. Um. Packers. Yeah, well, he can say what he want to say. I'm with Terry Bradshaw. That's a bad look for them. Can you hear me okay? I accidentally had a miscue. I got it now. I think about Aaron Rodgers like I think about Russell Wilson. This is not 2019. Okay. Um, these cats don't know when to retire. They're sticking around, waiting on what? You know, Your genie bottle isn't going to save you. Let's remember something about Aaron Rodgers. He got sacked by the football. He had a butt sack, and he was out for a whole year. He's 40 plus years old. What do you think is going to happen at this stage? You don't have the top tier receivers. You don't have a top tier head coach. You have a workman-like situation. Green Bay covered your behind for at least 4 or 5 years. Came over to Jetland, and you didn't call it jet lag, and they're not that good. Russell should retire. Body giving out on him. He gonna be one of those cats that guy gets stretched out and they say, "Okay, I guess I'll quit." You know you're gonna get a. You know you're gonna get the RG3 booth blazer and shake your greasy hair and be all happy and corny on TV. You already know they got you covered, Russell. Who you think you kidding? His reads aren't that good now. Hmm. That's what he tend to do. Overthrowing them and then don't know how to make touch passes. He trying too hard. And the problem, you know what the problem is with Russell? He didn't gotten too big. He been working out so much. He got too much. His body got thick, but he don't know how to utilize it. He sure was, because I remember he would do play action. I still remember that game against the 49ers when they beat him to go to the Super Bowl. And he had this cold play action that he did. And then that thing just like floated. And he had the touch. He had touch to his. He didn't have the arm strength that Mahomes got, but he had the touch that so few because he put that thing and you wouldn't even think it was gonna take off like that. But he need to go ahead and keep calling it a day now. I used to watch him. I remember he ain't got it no more because it doesn't lead to no touchdowns. I watched last year. Oh, you think I didn't watch them Steeler games? And he have tendencies to he just couldn't bring it. He was an offensive anemic. He was not he was a all time Price is Right. But I do like Family Feud with Steve and with Richard Dawson. But Price is Right all time. Yeah, he was cornball. I told you about them United Airlines commercials. Used to be heinous. That mess was all corny. I saw it in 2019. I lived out. I used to watch his game. I mean, no, but I saw it, man. Jeopardy makes me feel smart. I do like Wheel of Fortune, but I think Jeopardy makes me feel smart. Oh yeah. Problem with him is he got too bulky in Denver. He got arrogant, got out there, thought he was gonna bulldoze, and they played him. But I gotta go with Jeopardy for my intelligence. I do like Will, but Pat Sajak was a chump. I give me Alex Trebek any day over Pat Wax Sajak. He's a Hollywood Squares. That's a no-brainer for me out those two. Vanna White was okay, but I couldn't stand Pat Sajak. He a buster. Give me squares. Now with Russell, right? Russell was never the same after that Super Bowl. Now he did come and say they butt against Minnesota, but he was never the same. He never was the same. Yeah, I liked it. I like the old school version. Wayne. Brady. You know about Wayne Brady? Wayne Brady. Skittles. Because they don't want him there. That's why. You do know, I think I told you how that parted. Sherman them and Ben and them and Earl and them. Yeah, they would get around to it. But he ain't get he it's a mixed emotions. You know, Pete Carroll, the Vouch, they fell out the thing fell out bad. Because I have to watch his cornball now he's with the Giants. He can be like, well, no, that was up there. But he just like I said before, he fell off with a lot of people. Well, the quarterback, you know, that's a touchy subject if you talk about Seattle, y'all. I just told you they felt like they should have been a dynasty, and because he Pete Carroll and them trying to be cute, and they never were the same. I'm just telling you. You know, some people didn't respect him as a quarterback, so it all depends who you talk to. No, they weren't. I'm gonna tell you why, because I lived there. I'm gonna tell you why they weren't. Because he had badmouthed the situation, and he got to. And then when he went to Cleveland, and became Pillsbury Doughboy. Then they were like, okay, Vin Baker came there, and Vin was an all star. He wasn't as exciting as Kemp, but you know, Kemp almost ate himself out the league. Kemp, um, it's just that he didn't go to Cleveland and make him pay. That's why they let him go. Some didn't like it, but not everybody felt that way. You know, he ran himself out, chased everything that moved. Cat I used to be cool with his daughter said Gary was drunk at the. We had this club called the Shark there. Said Gary's like, let me tell you, let me give you a bag. He was all, and she said, look, man, just give me an autograph for my brother. Cause Gary was wild, you know. Still talk crazy, bay talk all out the side of his mouth. He was a mess back then. But he talked all that talk when George Carl got fired. He's like, well, George Carl goes, I'm going. And they did go to Milwaukee. He went to Milwaukee with Carl. All them Sonics were freakies, man. I still remember that chick that was messing with Kendall Gill. I was like, wow. Just I told you about him and Kid. He ran the street. Oh yeah, he got in trouble. Remember? Did you remember that story? I forgot what happened in Milwaukee, but he got in some trouble. But it got, of course, it got screwed underneath the table. But yeah, there was a situation. You have to Google it. Yeah, there was a story. It was early. It was 25 years ago. Yeah, but don't worry about nothing. Gary Stories is black. There ain't nothing with Gary that was out the question. Even though, you know, he does love him some John Stockton now. Monday. I'm gonna give myself a MISTERman Monday. But great to see you. See you then. Oh yeah, most of them were. I told you before. The facade and the real is two different things. David Stern wanted to sell you as nice and wholesome and all that. Take care, Charlene. But there's a lot of the. Ain't nothing new. Ain't nothing new with the sun. Yeah, most of them were. That's how it was. Just make sure you don't bring something home you can't get rid of tomorrow. That's all. That was the word. That's the word was worded. Yeah, Gary ran with Shaq. Gary was into a whole lot of stuff. Yeah, because he was trying to mac on everything, and he knew, and Oakley was there to always defend him. Yeah, well, Jordan and Oakley went back like that. Oakley stayed loyal. Oakley was like that with Scotty too. Yep. I try to tell you all the time that all this romanticism about him, yeah, love as a player, he was ruthless, cold, and talk trash, but he won. Okay, we get that. On the personal side, though, he was just not a nice guy. Yeah, well, I heard, well, I obviously know about Chameleon, but there was other though. Oak is ridiculous with that mess. He's still hanging on like 30, 40 years later. Oak ain't got nothing else better to do. Stick to cooking. I did like his cooking little show. But yeah, Jordan left a lot to be desired. And no one even knows about, excuse me, about the totality about the macking because Juanita cleaned him out, but no one talked about it. I don't know, too. Caught him down South Beach walking 2 in the morning, had detectives, had him watched. Yeah, he did. He ate cheeseburgers, go to Burger King, McDonald's. He did everything you're not supposed to do. Smoke cigars and wax your behind on the court. Uncanny. Yep. Yeah, well, he did a lot of stuff. I mean, you know, most of them do though. You just don't hear about it. That's all. I told you before, David Stern covered so much that you would be very surprised, and you would never look at none of these guys the same because they're indiscretions. Yeah, that ain't all he did, but Iverson was Iverson was wild. Yep, that's the oldest trick in the book. I heard that story about how the chick came to Shaq's door like that and he slammed the door in her face. Oh yeah, always distract you. That's why South Beach was notorious for that. You go to South Beach, they be railing you up. Oh yeah, they were wild back then. like I said before, what David Stern was pushing on TV ain't what was going on behind the scenes, but it was made for TV. There ain't nothing new under the sun. It really ain't. And the bigger you are, the more options you had. I remember them Laker pool parties back in the 80s. Yeah, they were wild. Let's see. Pat Riley wasn't above doing some trolling because he knew all the keys. Oh, funny you mentioned Pat Riley. when when he had everybody on the lock and key for the Heat. They knew where the beaches were. They knew all the secrets, all that. Yeah, he used to mess with them. He knew all the tactics and the antics. Well, you got to remember, Pat Riley did play along when Wilt Chamberlain was there. Think about it. He ain't seen too much. He ain't seen. And just like in the music business, where the third, fourth tier dudes be stacking with the chicks, it's the same way in the NBA. It's the cat you wouldn't assume is the one that's be macking. I kid you not. Yo, yeah, I knew that because the story I think Shaq or one was talking about. And during the season, South Beach, they had your butt on lock. So if you went anywhere, they knew it. Well, yep, he kept that chick from leaving Arizona. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, nothing new. Larry Bird, because he had that baby out of wedlock, and no one said nothing because they tried to keep him as a. You asking about white players? Um, I don't know a whole lot about what Tom Chambers thing, but something went down why he don't get no love though. White players, they tend to. It doesn't quite get as much attention, so they tend to pretty ordinary for the most part. Luke Walton. What did you hear about Luke Walton? Because I'll tell you a story about Luke Walton that I heard involving somebody that works for ESPN. But that was Scott Skiles, nothing out the ordinary. Um, but my homeboy, buddy, back in the day, he always used to wonder about Mike Fratello and Marv Albert. That was a running joke. But that's a whole nother story, though. Allegedly. But that was a buddy of mine said that. Yeah, and but they made him out like he was a dedicated coach. He looked all serious on the court. Knows how he looked. Fratello. Rumor. I don't know. Sposta's story was wild. whole former cheerleader. And the story is like old girl was trying to mac. I think it was Butler, one of them cats. Got up, you know, forgot who it was. So that's one of the stories with the Heat. Yep. Oh yeah, Don Nelson always be drunk all the time. He was drunk all the time. He had them heavy lids. He's out there on the bay. He wore that suit. Oh yeah. Hmm. I heard about that. That's yeah, that was pretty standard. Of course, Phil Jackson and Jenny Jones. Uh, most times you don't know about it, but he did what he did. You're not supposed to, cause he a big boy too. So yeah. Well, you depends on who your owner is. So it's very unprofessional, but so is those guys who be cursing those guys out and grabbing them and doing stuff too. But hey, that's what they did. That's why you had people like Boogie Cousins just chew up George Carl. Cats get chewed up. Yeah, well, he got no choice. He didn't put this whole charade up there, so he got no choice. I just hope for his sake that she don't clean him up. Of course she gonna say yes. She ain't gonna see another sugar daddy coming no time soon. Imagine she would. But anyway, yeah, I mean, um, yep, she about ready to start her own dynasty. I tell you, them blue pills be making you do things. Yeah, well, it's just that he didn't set himself up for such an ego flap because he's trying to really, really act like he's cool and happening, and then he's got to go back to college and coach, which you know was supposed to be beneath him. So you know, but yeah, he cracks me up though. a chance with Cam. What you mean had a chance with Cam? To do what? To do what? Patriots weren't a good team when Cam played there. They were average, and they won't. They need him for PR. Hey, he's like, you know, they ain't gonna win nothing. No, they were an average team when the Patriots had Cam. Patriots were looking for mobility, and the problem is that yes, they had Edelman at receiver, but they just didn't have the same team. So they won't fire him. No, they weren't gonna win nothing. Well, yeah, well now, but I don't see no win though. He should, cause it's the only time he's gonna get some money, and they just got through paying Josh Allen all that money. I don't blame him. This is best time to strike. Yeah. See what time it is. If I get cut off, that's because they gave me a time limit. But yeah, it's been a pretty good chat. Yeah, but running backs and quarterbacks, that's two different lanes, though. Different lanes. And they are letting running backs run a little bit, but it's a big difference when your quarterback holds out as your running back. You got to have some leverage, though. You do. So you can't compare a quarterback and a running back holding out. Not no more. And James Cook ain't Emmett Smith, so he good. He ain't Thurman Thomas. He ain't OJ Simpson. So, but he can get a 3 year deal, 4 year option, two guaranteed. That's what I'd probably say 5 year plan. But they have to iron it out. So, family image, family man. Because if you're a Lothar and a Playboy, you don't seem like you're steady. And it works better in sports than any other medium. In music, it used to be stay single, stay a teen, all that, movie stars, all that. But the movie game, you saw things kind of pop from the sky and do different things. They just looked at it as far as a business, because it sells the agenda. Because the middle America like a nice family, married, no shacking, no half-hearted. So no, he didn't, because he had to go behind Reggie Theus, and she was a businesswoman. He was wilding, Shoot, he was out there wilding. But she made okay. Have I told you like with Sugar Ray Leonard when his Juanita, ironically Juanita, the magical name for brothers who are trying to cross over. Yeah, Sugar Ray Leonard's ex. They needed that to sell 7 Up to sell them as a merchant product pitchman. I tell you, it works. Yep. Same story. Whenever they see a brother that's crossover potential, gotta marry him up. Marry him up. That's what LeBron did with Savannah. I'm not saying he didn't want to, but they were living together for a chunk. Think about it. Kobe got married Vanessa. Juanita got around. Yeah, she got around. Yep. Most of them do because they know that they're in the line for who's trying to be buy their business. Oh yeah, and Jordan was not going to take to liking to him. Basically, because if you got traded to Sacramento back then, you may as well be in a whole nother world. I told you, I still remember the day when Chris Webber was in Washington, with him and Jawan were in Washington, and he got traded to Sacramento, and he had this look like he is. They might be video footage of it. You have to type it in. I never forgot that back in the day when he got traded to Sacramento. His like, oh, what did I do wrong? That's how the NBA would fix your butt back in the day. That was some funny trades too. We used to laugh. Oh, never hear from him again. That used to be a running joke. Yeah, but so the thing is that was short lived though, because Tony got around though. She messed with Curtis Martin. No, you wouldn't. No, you wouldn't. She 304. Except they all smugged up with Baby Williams now. No, no, no. She looked good, but she just for them streets. For them streets. Curtis Martin used to be with the Jets. Kerry Lewis, new from Mint Condition, the band. Who was that here? Of course, you heard about the Jimmy Jackson, Jason Kidd, man. They're one of them, couple of them guys that was a fact. So it was NBA, football. You know, she and Babyface was cool. They never, but that was they should have though. Oh yeah, Mariah did. Oh yeah, I told you about the time when Jeter gave her the gift basket with the softball. He was a fool for that one. Oh yeah. Well, early on she was low key with it, but then she just got out there with it. She had a mini thing with Eminem. That's why she was dressed up like him in that one video. It was hilarious. And then the one that you won't believe with her, I don't know if you ever watched 106th Park. Did you ever watch 106th and Park? Because the one that caught me off guard with her is with her and AJ. That one caught me off guard. Oh yeah, Jeter would get these chicks the gift basket with the softball and a bottle of wine. That was his trademark. And some chick called him out on it. That was his trademark. Yeah. cause what else? What else you got on you? Come on now. I just because you know it's not gonna end well. If they're running them streets, so now okay, they sure would. So yeah, I'll probably come back on Monday. That's the plan. I saw that. And these cats be out here wild, and I'm told you this all linked to the same thing. You can always say emotional distress. Mm-hmm. Yep. Hey, when you're on the meat market, that's what happened. It's called golden rate. Hey, they all want money. Money make a lot of stuff go away. I kid you not. What you want? 100 grand to shut up and go on and hide, or $50 million and be like Smokey Robinson, Shannon Sharp, and these others? What you want? That's what's going on. People getting numbers, calculating, crunching. Because those are so. Remember, you were asking me earlier about the cornball brothers and stuff. There you go. When you ain't got no game, look at Tiger Woods. Remember what Tiger Woods got busted with? Think about it. So they get busted with usually corny and try to act like they got poor smoking nothing. I don't know how it's gonna turn out. I saw the suit that he's filing, but I don't know. If it ain't nothing there, I wouldn't say nothing because if you talk, people are gonna be wondering about you. But no, that's what's it. That's what they get. They ain't got no money, so that's how they talk, and them shits line up. Cause Tiger had about 20 of them, and about 18 of them were busted. Not really. Not really. Not that one that was in Colorado. And yeah, no, no, they weren't no tens because he didn't leave. That's all I'm gonna say. They weren't tens. He didn't leave. He went back home. That's all I know. He had a 10. He'd have had to think about it. He didn't go. I'm just saying. People be thinking you be making that up, but I'm just saying. You ain't get tempted. Yeah, you might got the second base. No, but I'm gonna tell you a story. She ain't, but I'm gonna tell you a story, right? Check this out. You go to Santa Monica and Cali, they got chicks like her walking the beach on an off day. I'm just saying, on an off day. Let me tell you how this game be. It's like when Shaq went to South Beach and his ex-wife came, she had to fix her weave up and get right because it was no joke. The game be real. Tell you, it's cute, it's corny, It's cute and corny, and I hope he don't have to cash out. Hope it ain't corny, cute, and cash out. For real about what? For real about what? Shaq's ex? Cause you talking about Vanessa and Callie? Which one you asking about for real about? Let me know which one you mean when you ask me about for real. We talking about Vanessa and Callie. Who pregnant? Oh, about Travis Hunter girl. Which one? Hunter's wife? No, what I was saying about Vanessa and Callie, there's a lot that look like her on an off day. Like you go down to Santa Monica, or you go to the beach or something. Dime a dozen. That's all. No, she ain't bad looking. She was cool, but what I'm saying is like a dime a dozen. Yeah, okay. Well, that's why, cause he gave her the Jeep and all that. Plus, he played for a sorry no account team with no sorry but quarterback, so I don't know what's gonna happen there. You know, Trevor Lawrence, I don't know, I don't know, I don't know, I don't know, I don't know. Yeah, because he peaked, and now you know Doug Peterson got fired, and Mac and Cheese was backing up, and that's not good. That's not good. Mac and Cheese got released, so he just the problem with him is he hold the ball too much and he throws some bad picks and he throws the ball in his body. So he got to figure out how to shorten the field up. He ain't been the same since he started believing his press clipping. So yeah, well, he's got work to do. He's got work to do. I don't know what Jacksonville gonna do. Your guess is as good as mine. I have no idea. They're not my team, so I can't lose no sleep. Good luck with that. All right, I got about probably about 10 more minutes before I call it a day. I got a long tomorrow. I'm going things planned tomorrow, so we're gonna make 10 more minutes, and then I'll be back on Monday. It's amazing this held up all right today because it messed up on me yesterday, but okay. Can't tell. Yeah, we'd already said he was a scrub, so okay. I don't know if they ducking them. I don't know how you say they ducking them. I think it's just that it's a reset. I don't know if they ducking. I think it's a reset. I think it's just that the style is what's making it seem like it's so lame, but it's the powers that be, the agenda. I don't know why you said ducking them though. I agree. I agree. Because to do what he do in 1 year, to win all those games, the regular season MVP, Western Conference MVP, yeah, yeah. Because he's been there for 3 years and it all came together. And then when you consider this, he's got a chance to win another ring or two maybe before his career is through. And no one's really looking at him because he doesn't have the kind of pedigree aura that Westbrook or KD. But let the numbers speak. Let the totality speak. Think about it. And look at it from this perspective. Who is he playing with that's considered great? Chad Hogan, maybe in a couple of years. Maybe Lord Dame. It's a big difference when you carry that weight and shoulders and you really stepping up. So yeah, that's all I'm making a point about that. I know on the naked eye, you'd be like Russell Westbrook with the triple doubles, and you mentioned KD, right? And you could say I didn't say he was a better player for a career than Kevin Durant. I ain't gonna say nothing. But if he wins two more rings in OKC and he wins another Finals, a league MVP, then we might revisit that. Don't let him win two more rings and another league MVP and a cup Finals MVP. He wins two or three rings. He keeps on scoring 30 points a game, six dimes. Nobody cares what he do. The fact they got him to be a spy, that's all he's there for. He's too dumb to understand he's getting easy money because it ain't about him being no. They got no hopes. There's what one, two. What's that? One, two, three, six letters in his name. I dare him to win 6 games. Okay, please. He wins 6 games. They should have a one block toilet paper parade. It ain't gonna happen. There's a reason why you are playing in Beijing at this stage. Yeah, because they keep an eye on Shador. Oh, you do think they don't have spies? They pay guys to watch other guys. I don't know if you remember a guy named Jack Haley. This may be before your time with Rodman. Was a spy. He came to the Bulls to watch him like a chaperone. There's some strange stuff with these leagues. I tell you, they watch you in ways you can't imagine. But that's the only way Flacco could hang with Shador. Right, this time we're gonna call it. Well, yeah, I don't even want to address that. Look, and I'm torn. I'm torn because I like his defensive play, but that's just soft. Crawl at crying just to get the bag, and your butt's gonna be in last place. What a waste! When you had a chance to go somewhere and win. Nah, I don't understand his logic. Oh yeah, they all do. All coaches do. They start from within and they infiltrate. They all do. They always watching. Like my brother says, they're watching. Yeah, they all got spies. Okay. I'm gonna call it a day. It's been great. Appreciate you staying on. I'll be back Monday. I'll give myself a day off. So I'm working on some videos tomorrow after I come back. So it's gonna be my video. Start my week off. Hit topics. But be on the lookout for some videos I got out, and there'll be more. I'll see you on Monday. I'll take tomorrow. Stay safe, stay blessed, stay woke, stay free. Appreciate everybody that came through. We didn't have a lot today. Some days it be that way. That's fine. I still was courtesy of Ted being on here. We still pulled out 2 hours. And shout out to Charlene. So it don't matter how many people on it. People got conversation and comments. We'll make the most of it. And appreciate the viewers and everybody that came through. So just wishing you a sour narrow. Stay soft, stay blessed, stay free. Catch you another time. So yeah. All right, I'm out after this one. And that poll was all 100% too. So Zion, I'm afraid you're there.